Hello there, so welcome back. We're going to take a look at a brand new B-Wing training custom mission that has been made by a fella called RBSkald. I'm just going to call him Cal for the rest of this video. Cal here, he wrote up in the XWVM forum what the whole point of his this mission it is that he designed, and basically it's like a dev sidestep, but for a B-Wing instead of the X-Wing. And I was quite happy to see all of his train of thoughts in his design for this mission. Talon did rightly say in that forum that B-Wing Historical 2 is technically supposed to be the official version of what Cal is trying to do here. But I've played both of these missions now, and I can see that Cal does have a point here regarding having a dedicated shooting gallery for the B-Wing. It just doesn't exist because you don't have the variety of targets that you have here that we're about to showcase. And yeah, it was not really a slight oversight, because he also explains as to what the most likely reasoning is. There was no proper B-Wing introductory mission. So we're just gonna hop in here and just take a look and showcase some of the interesting stuff that he's done with his mission design here. So it's a 2 B-Wing mission. So you can also mess around with the wingman commands if it was a new player approaching it, that is. Okay, so here we are. So you've got a stack of Corvettes just as you enter. And to the right over here, you've got transports, I believe. Let me open up the map real quick. Yep. Ah, there they are. Yep. So you've got Corvettes, you've got transports, you've got TIE fighters, TIE bombers, gunships. No interceptors. And of course, the other thing that you do have, which is really cool, is if I just accelerate this a little bit. This part was I quite liked. What Cal has done is that he's created like a makeshift dockyard using freighters, and he's put the frigate here that you're supposed to destroy in a disabled state. So yeah, you've got 2 Corvettes and the frigate in a makeshift dockyard made out of freighters. So that's supposed to be the primary target for the mission, to test the B-Wing's assault capabilities, just to blow everybody here up. Like I said, it's a training mission, so no one shoots back at you. I think it would have been a good idea to actually have some interceptors, just so that you have like a fast kind of target for the player to shoot at, basically, because what you have is the gunships, the assault gunboats, and they're like a tough enemy to have, so just a little bit of variety there would have been, I think would have been pretty good. But for all I know, he might be putting that into the second part of his series, because he said that this is supposed to be 1 of 3 missions. This is the first. Oh, I didn't quite realize that the bombers and the fighters don't actually move. It's only the gunships. Yeah. Would have been nice to have like a patrol or 2 actually moving, as well as some interceptors. But yeah, so that's what we got going on here. So if you want to try out the mission, you have to go over to the XWVM Discord, and you have to go to the forum where it's the share your custom missions, and you can find the file there. So what I really like about the mission is that it is built from the ground up to be extremely beginner friendly. It's there to show, well, it's there to allow the player the ability to use all of the weapon systems on the B-Wing, and you have their vast variety of targets to test the B-Wing's capabilities against all of those targets. It's from my point of view, my experience so far, because I only started playing the game in 2016, and I was only 16 then when I started. If you're a new player, it's not just the game itself, but the community itself isn't quite that receptive to new people coming in, and I'll explain why. I have got a lot of help from most of the core community on the XWVM mod. The guys I know, like Talon, Asreps, I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name, he's one of the admins, and I think he's a dev as well. There's also another fella in one of my previous comments for my very first X-Wing video. He broke down the entire history of like the game development and the early lore for Star Wars, and explained to me why the things are the way they were in X-Wing Alliance. So I've gotten a lot of help. I'd say like 60-70% of the fan base have been very helpful to me. But there's also the other part of the community where, how do I put it politely, it's like more salty and jaded. You have a lot of people, and it's not just my own experience. I've seen it happen out in other forums, on the Discord, or online when people are chatting with each other. There is the kind of sense within the people that played the games in the 90s that if you weren't there in the 90s, then you're not really a part of us. That's the polite way I can put it out there. It's not that they're not receptive to newcomers, it's just that they expect everyone to have been there and to know everything. It's yeah, that's the politest way I can put it. So every time I see something here where it's designed for someone who's completely brand new, I'm all for it. Because I was completely brand new when I started playing, like, oh man, 2016, how long was that? Oh, that was almost like 10 years ago now. Yeah, because back then you didn't have XWVM. I think X-Wing Alliance upgrade was around. Trying to access the games as someone who's like, you know, much younger is very hard in of itself. I mean, I had to mess around because I first got one of the original DOS versions on a website, and so I had to get DOSBox. Trying to figure out DOSBox without having any prior knowledge to anything, it took a long time for me to figure it out, but I did figure it out. And then get the original game working to try it out. I did that, and then of course by then, that year or the year later, Steam got the special editions, which made it really easy. All you need to do is just buy it, and then you just put it in. But even if you get that far, if you take away the technical limitations to entering this game, there is no tutorial in the game. I think the first person who pointed it out was Space Cadet Rewind. He did a retrospective video. He's got like 170k views on his vid there. And yeah, there is no dedicated tutorial in the X-Wing. I think the first time you get a dedicated tutorial is in TIE Fighter. I've never tried TIE Fighter, but I've been trying to do research into as much as I can about this game. As I said, the guys that I mentioned earlier, they've been really helpful in explaining to me what the hell is going on half the time. But yeah, trying to get into the game as someone who's younger, excusing the technical aspects, it is quite hard. The game, compared to how games are made today, there is literally zero handholding. In fact, if you really do want to just pick up the game out of the box, well, quote-unquote box, right now, and you give it to somebody who's like brand new to the whole thing, he's not going to be able to figure it out because he needs the manual to tell him what all the buttons are, because there's a lot of buttons. It's not as much as like Armor or the Mil-Sim shooter, but it's close enough. It is in of itself a flight combat sim. That's how it was supposedly designed. So you don't have a dedicated tutorial. The game doesn't actually really explain that you should try play the historical missions first, because I think X-Wing's historical mission 1 through 4, those are like the hard tutorial, and the other ones are in the first campaign duty. Missions 1 to 3 are also tutorial kind of based. I think there's like a strategy guide book or something, which I've never seen or gotten my hands on before. For me, all I did was get the manual, and then go on the forums, and then of course go on YouTube and watch people actually play the game. That's how I figured it out. Yeah, so if you're brand new and coming in, this right here is pretty good. But of course, the other problem occurs is that since the game is so old, I think the community has sort of just accepted the fact that it's just going to be the guys that were there in 1990 who are just going to be the ones who are playing the game and coming back. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who disagrees with this, because if I look at how the mod has been made, the devs have gone through quite a lot of effort to make it accessible. Like compared to X-Wing Alliance upgrade, the last time I tried installing that was like a year or two ago. That is not straightforward at all. Sorry to say, but it just isn't. There's a lot of steps to go through, and I think one of the tutorials that show you how to install it was like, it was a pretty long video to show how to get through it. I managed to get through it, but I don't really like X-Wing Alliance. I'll probably revisit the game later on, but yeah, you can tell that the devs paid a lot of attention and put in a lot of work to make this mod as accessible as it can be. And I think that must be one of the reasons, because they could have easily have just gone the way X-Wing Alliance upgrade went and just assumed that if these guys really do want to play this upgrade, they probably are already old enough and tech savvy from how things worked from the 90s onto here to figure out how to get it all working. It wouldn't work for someone else in my generation. It was hard enough for me to get to this far. So yeah, really appreciate it that there's somebody else out there who's still thinking of the game from like a new player's perspective and doing work on that. The only other YouTuber I know of that is quite helpful to onboard new players is Hono Susuri. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name, but I'll put his name on the screen here, and I'll put his channel link below. He's an older British fellow, and he makes a lot of guides for the installations and also for the peripheral stuff. I think he does VR settings, voice attack settings, and all that kind of things. All the fancy gizmos and gadgets, which I started using as well. Other than that, if you go onto YouTube or really anywhere else, you don't see that much effort being put in to try to onboard new players. So yeah. Now, I'm not saying that the community needs to change or anything. There's no community leader or anything. X-Wing is a pretty old game, and it's not like that large compared to other gaming communities. But it is something to think about for other folks out there who's watching this video. But yeah, that's my short rant on that aspect of things as they are. I look forward to playing the next mission in this series. I wonder what he's going to do. I have a feeling that the next one is going to have the moving parts that I said that this mission should have had. He probably is going to put out the kind of enemies that the B-Wing supposedly shouldn't be able to deal with that well. Fast, maneuverable starfighters, and maybe lots of munitions as well. But we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching.